Exit left.
cooperating opponent. Here's a fascinating study a few years ago showing not only how irrational we can be, but how emotional setting can change the rationality of our choices. Okay, here's a classic philosophy problem. You've got some trolley car that's rolling out of control, its brake has failed, it's barreling down the tracks, and is about to hit and kill 5 people. You've got a choice. You can leap over and pull a lever, and by pulling the lever, this diverts the trolley onto a different track where it kills 1 person. You pull the lever. In order to save 5 lives, you sacrifice that 1 person. Second scenario, the trolley is barreling down out of control, about to kill those 5 people, and there's some beefy guy standing right in front of you, and with your own hands, you can push him onto the track. He'll get killed, but it'll stop the trolley. Do you do it? To save 5 people, you sacrifice 1. In a formal mathematical sense, these are absolutely equivalent choices. Do you kill 1 in order to save 5? In the first case, you do nothing more emotionally soiling than pull a lever. In the second case, you use your own hands to push the person onto the track. And even though from an economic standpoint, these are absolutely equivalent, people are like 3 times more likely to choose to pull the lever than to push with their own hands. The latter case is just too emotionally salient. It's your own hands that's pushing the person to death. And you see there are great relevance. Pushing a button and dropping some bomb from 30,000 feet up in the air is a lot easier to do than using your own bloodied hands. About a 3-fold difference in which version people are willing to do. So in this wonderful study, they went and brain imaged people.
In 4¼ miles, keep left.
The 2 different versions of the trolley scenario. And what you see is, depending on how it's framed, do you save 5 by sacrificing 1 by pulling the lever, or do you do it by pushing with your own hands? When the person is contemplating the pulling the lever scenario, what metabolically lights up? Their cortex. And when instead you're contemplating, do I push someone to their death with my own hands, what part of the brain lights up? The limbic system. In other words, depending on how this mathematically equivalent scenario is presented to you, depending on how much it's dripping, marinating in emotion, you engage completely different parts of the brain. And what that winds up telling you is, depending on the emotional content it means, you're using very different parts of the brain to decide what's the appropriate optimal thing to do. So what we see here in this ending is, this is a realm where there's not only not a whole lot of rationality behavior, but it's even irrational insofar as you're using different parts of the brain to